machines. And like I said, I think they've allotted $750,000 installed playground equipment, safety surfacing. It, the board in place is not a less expensive option. It's definitely a more expensive thing. Um, so anyway, cost for the actual contract, um, they're they're counting it at 10% of the cost of the project is what they're counting on. So um, anyway, what questions do you have? That can be a public person questions as well.
Or the grant that we're applying for would cover any of the items in here?
Yes.
Okay, because I know there's stipulations on what it can and can't pay for.
Yeah, what the goals that we're looking at is accessibility, um, recreational opportunities. Um, I can't think what the third one is, top of my head. Um, and you know they're always big on making sure that you're providing support facilities. So that's what parking is. Drinking fountains. I'm sure we'd install drinking fountains in there. Um, maybe enhancing the restroom that's already there. Those are support facilities. So, um, so those are the items we think that's our main goals. So, and the fact that Riverside Park is such an important facility to our community, that's what I think that's got to be a big factor in the application. So
Dan, what's the timeline for that?
it the grant is due August 1st, and then I expect it'll be a year or at the end of the year before we hear from the DNR. Whether and that's actually the next step. They accept it, and then they turn it over to the National Park Service, who then approves it and moves forward with it that way. And they you know there's a lot more things like your environmental impact stuff and your historic designations and things like that. All that has to be is looked at more closely by the DNR, so or by the National Park Service. And anyway, in the DNR, when I talked to them, they felt like it's going to take the National Park Service a good year for them to make their determination, their final determination. But usually, the DNR doesn't pass it on if there's not the money available or and that they don't already approve it. So it's really just jumping through the National Park Service's hoops then that next year to make sure that they've got everything they need before you move on. So
It's $1 million maximum ask.
it's $1 million maximum. Yep.
So where would the remaining funds come?
That's what I'm going to, well, I'd like to see the city come up with 500,000 and the redevelopment commission come up with 500,000. Now, if that's not possible, then we cut this budget back and go with a less expensive project. And I haven't determined what that would be yet, so.
What's the requirement? Is there a match?
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's a 50% match. Uh-huh. So if you get 500,000, you gotta provide 500,000. So, or you can do more, but, you know, so, and even if it was a million to a million, we could make it a bigger project if that's what we want, but they won't match it past a million. Who's writing your grant? I am.
When do they have to know, like, that we have the money to match what they're going to give us? Like,
When I turn in the grant.
so you have to have a commitment by August 1st.
Mhm.
Okay. And I'm assuming that would come out of the 2026 council budget. I mean, if the council decides they're going to fund it at $500,000, that would have to come out of 2026's money, since the budget's already done for this year.
No, it didn't necessarily, if we felt like it was gonna be 27 before we were gonna start construction, it could be 27. I don't think, just the timeline that the DNR says, it'll be 27 before we're able to do construction. So, the other point that I wanted, two points. One is that we have had this in the CIP for several years, probably 5 or 6 years, that we were going to be doing this at some point to enhance Riverside Park. The other thing is that Riverside Park is in the TIF district for, is it downtown or is it a different TIF district now? I mean,
no, I think it's in the consolidated.
oh, okay.
Because it has a funky, it goes around that and then
It
goes
does.
over to Water Street and it goes, I think it's,
Yeah.
I don't think it's in downtown.
So it is. So those are two things that I think should be considered as we move forward. So
Mention one thing, would you go back to the roundabout thing? Because I think there's something we could consider.
that one.
Yeah, that I know the folks at the carousel were a little touchy at times about losing parking in that, what they call their front now. And I think you could, with this plan, have the circular and even have maybe an asphalt wing off of that. Because we also, at one time, had talked about how if you get the thing developed down by the river, you could have some catering and stuff going on where people could have events on the waterfront, use the kitchen that's in the McHale complex, prepare some stuff. And then, you could also, I thought now, as much as we talk now about food trucks and that kind of stuff, you could also have that be a little parking if they needed to have it for a carousel event. I know they're kind of touchy about that. So, and then I also thought, then if you had an event and people would come down there and do that, and then also, with the events that are there now, there's also stuff that could be, kind of piggybacked off of them. You could have something happening down here out by the water. So there's room there, other than trees that are there in that drawing. I think if it came down to that, I say, this world of food trucks and stuff, to have that be part of that playground and all that pickleball and all that stuff going on down there, you'd have that, an ability, if you take the street out, it kind of takes away some of that, but you could have an extra piece of asphalt that could be multi-purpose to do various things and, whatever. But I'm glad to see there is room there to handle that if we had to do that. So, who knows?
Any other discussion? All right, then I would call for a motion to approve Resolution 2025-05, resolution of the Logansport Parks and Recreation Board to approve the submission of the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant proposal.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes.
And I will be trying to get this to the city council as soon as possible, and then RDC as well. So I did make a preliminary presentation to the RDC last month. So anyway, so hopefully they won't be surprised when I bring this to them.
Well, they're never surprises to you, Jan.
I know. Okay.
Next item on old business is the renewal of the lease from Tony Palmer, DBA Sports Hideout Foundation for Melbourne Park softball field and concession. I believe we tabled this at the last meeting, and Jan has an update on.
Yeah, he let me know that he's just not able to do this financially anymore. So I don't know that means he's quitting. I just think he's not ready to continue. So we're gonna go ahead and,
Just-
let it go for now, and
Yeah.
if he comes back to talk to us about it again, I hope he can do that. So,
So, I don't think we have to take any action. We just aren't going to be approving it, and
Right.
there's really nothing
well,
to
do
do.
you have to take it off the table?
Might have to do that officially.
I think officially you have to take it off the table.
Okay, so can we untable this item? Anybody have a motion to untable the item for the lease renewal?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so with it being back on the table, we will do nothing with it, since he's not going to renew it. We'll just let that go. New business. Surplus equipment for the city auction on June the 7th.
There's a list of auction items there for, screen cover for your dump bed, truck, a tonneau cover for the pickup trucks, the shop refrigerator, 2 bicycles. We have bicycles because police don't collect them anymore. And Modine heaters, 2 of those. Where were those at, Kevin?
They were in the Gale complex where we did the heat.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. And pleated shades. The golf course has the 1997 red Ford pickup truck with a plow. Is that a pickup truck or a dump truck?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then the tables and chairs from the old clubhouse.
So do we need to make a motion on this, or is this, okay, so, does anybody want to move that we accept these auction items, from the parks and from the golf, course to be auctioned off in the city auction?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, so these will be auctioned off at the city auction.
That's June the 7th, so. Anyway,
Okay, next new business, the vending machine proposal from Anna Ortiz.
and she is not here. Right?
Uh,
So, I'll just do a quick, just, this is what you need to see. She's interested in doing a diverse, a culturally diverse, vending machine program. And, she shows you some of the different items that she'd include, that are, especially drinks that, are more attracted to the different cultures here in our community. And so I will just ask her to come back to the next meeting then, okay? To really present that.
about her being here. So. Okay. Next action, Parks Board Resolution 2025-06, agreeing to manage future Logan Cass County Memorial Center.
You want to come up and talk about it?
May I approach the board? Again, I'm Malcolm Jarrell. The city, became the sole owner of the Memorial Center around 2022. But prior to that time, it had been jointly owned with Cass County. And there was disagreement, really, frankly, about how to proceed and what to do with the building. Now that the city has it, they're really committed to rehabilitating the building. And we use the term rehabilitating in the sense that it's not going to be a complete restoration back to its original building, but it would serve as, rehabilitated to serve as a community center, preserving as much of the historical character as practical. So they've asked me to drive this project forward in terms of grant applications, environmental assessments, and emergency work in the near term to kind of protect the building envelope. Had a new roof put on in 2024, and we're currently doing window restoration work there. The project is about $3 million project. It may go over that, but that's sort of our working number, of which we were looking to use $1 million of public money, $1 million of private money, and $1 million through various grants, both government and private foundation grants, to achieve it. And there's a phased approach to it. We're currently applying for a Office of Community and Rural Affairs Community Development Block Grant that would cover the exterior restoration work, including the masonry, the metal restoration on the post and the railings, a lot of concrete work and wood restoration work, including the remainder of the buildings. You'll see scaffolding set up now on the east side of the building where we're restoring the windows that were like in worse condition, actually had lost some glass and so forth. So with the window restoration work we're doing now, I think we will have kind of protected the building from further degradation on the inside. And the masonry work really hasn't degraded much in the past 7 years. The woodwork has. So the idea is to phase it. We have the exterior restoration work done next year. Then the what we call mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work, MEP work, including the complete new electrical service, electrical distribution within the building, the HVAC system, and plumbing. And then a lot of that would also contribute to making it ADA accessible, including an elevator that would go from the gymnasium in the basement up to the second level. So we're doing things sort of and then the final would be kind of the finishing and the furnishing of it. So there's about 3 years worth of work I've just kind of laid out there real quickly. And a lot of that we're just kind of doing in a linear fashion about what makes sense to do first and before something else in the construction train. But the grant applications also put you in a way of thinking non-linear in terms of how are you going to operate and how you're going to sustain the building. So that we've been going through that thought exercise as well. And my recommendation to the city is that the Parks Department fulfill the role of operating the building. And the reason for that is, number one, the Parks Department knows how to operate a facility, operate the Penman Building, operate the McHale Complex, and operate a number of outdoor facilities, all requiring maintenance and management. There's a certain synergy associated with having those resources combined. There's also a void in the parks programming for a facility like the Memorial Center, and especially the gymnasium, and even the banquet room for that matter. And a lot of space in there. It's 14,000 square feet that can serve as a variety of needs for the park department. So I had gone through the comprehensive planning and said, oh yeah, the Memorial Center can do this and that and a lot of things and serve this community, and especially the low income components of our community. So that's sort of where I began to talk to Jan about it, and it seemed to make sense on a lot of levels, because she said the Parks Department's looking for a facility, and whether it's a new build or whatever, the timeline is sort of fits with what you're doing, especially when you're considering taking on some of these other outdoor projects in the more near term. This would sort of fall in line sequentially with what is already taking place, which I love, by the way. So that's where we are. I've socialized the idea with some of the council members. Many of them or several of them at least, serve on the Friends of the Memorial Center. So they're updated and contribute ideas and thinking about moving forward. I think that it's that it's something that would be. I know that you'll, if you decide to go forward and take this on, you want to know that you've got that commitment. So Jan and I have talked about pushing a resolution forward to the city council to more formalize and also identify any hiccups or any concerns that city leadership as well as the public would have with this idea. And I'll answer any questions that you have about.
I don't know that I have a lot of questions. The obvious concerns are, where does the money come from for all this? And I'm talking about once it's done and looking over the staffing proposals, and clearly we could only do this if the city council funds it.
Sure.
Because we're looking at adding 50 to 60% staff from what we currently have on staff in the Parks Department.
That is one of the
Yeah.
hurdles here, is to make sure that it's a evolutionary step forward for the Parks Department to take on a project like that, and it will have to have the personnel and leadership and skills and to make that happen, and of course the funding to go with it. So I think that would, no matter how it goes, there's going to be some component of self-funding. The building would serve as a community center, and even though it would be a low-cost option, I did a feasibility study on the event centers. There was concern, and there probably will hear more concern about people who have invested in event centers here, and that this is perhaps a competitive project. But I think it fills a different need and a void, just the way Vibrant Event Center doesn't really compete with the McHale complex. In a sense it does, but not really, because if you're looking for the events, the Vibrant events, you're looking at something completely different than what you get there.
The other thing that I thought about, or some of us thought about too, I'm sure others did, the proposal talks about seniors, veterans, and kids. So how do you envision that building with all three of those groups in it at the same time? Do you think there's any kind of issue there with having kids and seniors?
Programs, really not co-tenancy. I mean, we've kind of pulled out the Jan had explained to me some of the issues that the Parks Department currently has with co-tenancy at Riverside, and I understand that, and I think that we're pulling back the idea that would be office space for veterans organizations. As a matter of fact, the grant application that we're currently pursuing also frowns upon kind of joint occupancy type situation. So that's what you're asking me, is if it's joint occupancy.
Yeah.
They're not really coexisting so much as there would be, they may have an event. They may want some office space for a meeting, not for a.
Because all three of those groups deserve someplace. I just didn't know how, we're literally bottom floor, second floor, third floor, like how that would all fish out. But what you're saying makes a little more sense, that, maybe there's a senior event once a week in there, and then the kids have something, and then there's veterans that come in on one day of the week, or, just different things.
I think it would be park programming, and then and then just like you might open up parks or your other facilities for meetings and events and community gatherings, then it would be operating the same way.
Do you guys have any other questions?
No, probably just comments. We took a tour last Friday, and the building's actually in pretty good shape compared to what I thought, for as long as it's sat vacant. And I do think, you got the other organization. I think that you've got the event center. You also have the YMCA, which provides some after school stuff and that kind of stuff. All that being said, I was just told last week that our free and reduced lunch program in our schools has moved from 67% of our students to 72% of our students. So that means we now have more kids that have a an economic issue in their families. And so, you know, after-school stuff would be good.
Mike, we've talked about how there's a lot of kids in this community that aren't going to Disney World this summer.
Right.
They're going to
Right.
need places like this park, and they're going to
Yeah.
need places all year long. So we can help provide that.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a new challenge for the parks. I've often said, I don't know if it's popular or not, but you know that our parks, we are so tight on budget and people and stuff that our park staffing is primarily Monday to Friday, and then you know we talked that the Memorial Center down there, it could be you could hold a wedding reception in there, have caterers and stuff like that, but we don't really have at this point any money in the budget to have staff be there to maintain caterers and and things that stretch out in longer lengths. Interesting enough, we mentioned the seniors. The senior center. When I used to go down there for whatever reason, there'd be 30 or 40 people in there. There were seniors, a place to congregate. So in some ways, it'd be nice if you're going to have a facility that's open, to have, in 8 a.m. till whatever the seniors could be. Then you have kids come after school, and you have some after school education and fun and whatever else. Also not wanting to trample on, I think you have a different client at the Y than you'd have here. So, but I think it is a new challenge for us to, when they start talking about needing to have like 5 employees or whatever, that we're making everybody wear multiple hats as it is now. So we just need to be aware of that. I don't think it's I shouldn't say challenge. It's probably an opportunity. But it's going to take a different look, and it may also include that we need to somehow involve the schools, to get some after-school teachers part-time, or I think it's a good thing. To say, it's hard because I say the senior center, I believe they were not able to get enough funding to continue on. So I said, well, hey, we'll take that on. We can do a better job. But I do think that it's an underserved part of our community. And again, I think our population is skewing in the direction of having more older people. And then I say we've got the economic issues that we always have. That, as I say, that we have, and then the park, as you mentioned, I think the parks are. When we have a factory or someone to come to town, part of their, employee benefit packages are parks. So they're not having their own rec center inside of the factory, but if we give them things to offer to their employees, and I think things like this are like that. I think there's some interesting challenges. I think parking's a challenge there, the ADA stuff's a challenge there, but those can all be resolved. It just takes money. And that, as I say, that's in every one of these things we do over all these years. There's things that we have done that I think will never happen. I look at our downtown where when I was younger on committees, they were talking about we're going to have people living upstairs downtown. We're going to have and it never really happened. And now in the last 3 years, it's just blossomed. And if I would have said back then, well, that'll never happen, blah blah blah, I would have been wrong. And so I hate to throw water on something like this, but I think it's a case where we got to be wide-eyed to open the fact that we're going to have to raise money, and we're going to have community support, and but
I got a thought to the private fundraising part of it. And in this community, there's really only room probably for one major capital campaign per year, and so timing becomes everything. We've got the museum, we've got the farmers market, some other big projects that are underway. But there is a good plan around it. I can't say too much about it right now, but there's going to be naming opportunities and some things that may be attractive to people that want to leave a legacy. So I think $1 million is an achievable private goal. I know that we can pull in $1 million of grant money. There's multiple opportunities to do that, and then the city is they've already probably put in $500,000 committed, either into the building per se for construction that's completed or underway and or for matching grant money.
Anything else?
I was just gonna say my concern was the budget for the staff, making sure that we have the money in our budget in the future to
Right.
afford the
We don't-
5 additional people.
Right, and we don't know what that staff looks like.
Yeah.
We're 3 years out on it, but I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's probably a conceptual matter at this point, recognizing that it will take a number of people. The Parks Department will have to tell us what it needs to operate it, but
Well, and I think the resolution, I don't think it goes that deep yet. I mean, it just basically says that we'll manage it when everything's done.
Yes.
And that it spells out our responsibility in the city, what they do, and all of this stuff. So, clearly, whether the city's not going to hand it to the Parks Department if we're not able to take care of it. I mean, they'll have to fund it. They'll have to figure out how we're going to staff it, and we'll have to work with them to get all that done. So I'm not worried about that as far as passing the resolution. These are just, things that we're thinking of down the road.
it's, the one thing I guess I should mention is that we will want to have some discussions with the Parks Foundation as far as pass-through fund management. And when I think about all the things that the Parks Department can bring to this facility and the facility can bring to the Parks Department, I don't know that there's a better fit. And so anybody could say, we don't want to commit, but then there's no alternative that comes close.
I think there are a lot of benefits. I mean, we've been talking for a long time. Do we have an indoor facility people can go to? And we don't. There's just nowhere since the mall's gone, there's nowhere for seniors to walk and, do their walking. I mean, there's just little things like that we don't have, short of paying a membership to the Y. So I think it's a good fit. I wasn't sure when I first heard it. The more I've looked at it and seen this and seen the building, and it could be very good. I think it really could be. And hopefully the funds come through to do all of the work that has to be done, because obviously that's step one. So any other comments from anybody?
I was going to say, I two things. One, when you talk about senior programming, one of the neat things that happened when I was in West Lafayette was that they had I guess a travel program. Is it hostel? I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of that? Like a hostel program for seniors. So that's I guess that's one of the things I was thinking about. You
mean a residency?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and so or instructional programs that are not just your average crafts and gym, but maybe butterflies or nature programs or things like that we can be bringing more information to the community through programs like that. And somebody used to do travel logs all the time, and so stuff like that can still happen in a place like this. But I know that there's a system, and I'd have to look it up because we used that. There was a group that rented out an office space in West Lafayette at our facility there, and that's where they operated, and they had their own group of people coming there regularly, and so that might be something that we could investigate. The other thing is, I feel like all work that's going to be going on in our community in these next few years, that our need for an indoor facility is not going to take a high priority in terms of the work that has to be done. And I think this is our best chance for an indoor facility for these next 10 years or so. I just don't know how else we will be able to get this available to our community. So I think strongly that it would be a good thing for our community, and for the Parks Department to provide things that we can't provide right now. So, so.
All right, so we're going to ask for a motion for Parks Board Resolution 2025-06, a resolution of the Logansport Parks and Recreation Board, agreeing to be designated as the future management entity for the rehabilitated Logansport Cass County Memorial Center. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thanks for all your hard work on this, too.
All right, next new business, Park Board Resolution 2025-07, amending the alcohol exception for Dykeman Park.
You guys want to come up and talk about that a little bit?
Not a whole lot to say about it, except we're just checking another box, basically, in the, on our application to where we can serve, liquor instead of just beer and wine, which, nowadays you have all the drinks in a can, like High Noons and seltzers and stuff like that, so we're just trying to add a little something else. We've been serving beer and wine for 18 years and been successful at it. And just with the new clubhouse and everything, we're just want to expand our menu a little bit and bring a little more business our way.
So this is all prepackaged. We're still doing prepackaged. We're not talking about a bar with.
We're not doing like a bar or anything like that. No, I'm not a bartender.
But we're also not saying we're not, handing someone a shooter of Jack Daniels and a can of Coke and say, here you go.
Jack and Coke, that's your Jack and Coke.
But no, there's not gonna be shelves full of bar bottles sitting behind the counter or anything, but like
And
Dean
we're
said,
making a margarita or something.
most of the
There'll be a
stuff,
margarita in a can.
most of the stuff, or majority of it is prepackaged seltzers and things like that. So, since we're an incorporated city with a population under 25,000, gives us the avenue to just add this license onto our beer and wine license, so we don't have to go through a whole. There doesn't have to be a license available for us to get, or we don't have to buy one from someone. It's just kind of an addition. It's a 212-1, which is a beer, wine, and alcohol with no carry-out permit. So that's how we're able to just kind of, it's not as in-depth as just going out and getting your three-way license would be right off the bat would be. There's no hearings to have. Literally just check a box and pay the fee and boom.
That's my question, because I know that in the old days, you had to buy a license from only somebody
Yeah.
in Logansport, you had to buy one from somebody.
Yeah, if we were starting our own business someplace, it'd be a whole different kind of process, and there wouldn't, things might not be available and stuff like that, but this is just,
Yep, I've confirmed with the state that this type of license is available to us, and that's why we're able to get it, because of our status as a
unincorporated.
unincorporated or incorporated city, population less than 25,000. So,
So the actual resolution is still the same resolution we've used in the past. I just added the word liquor to the Dykeman Park golf course sections of this. So I did, and you can cut this out if you want to, but I did in terms of a private, not a private, somebody had like an event, special event, having, like, so if people social wanted to serve drinks at an event in Iron Horse Park or Little Turtle Waterway, that their drinks could include liquor. And so I did add the word liquor to section 3 for that kind of situation.
It's more and more common. I mean, they're prepackaging so many different types of alcohol now. It's not just beer anymore.
That's where it
We
is.
do that with the event that I host for my alumni association. It's the same thing. I mean, we have cans of everything from the White Claw to the Bud Light, whatevers that are flavored, and the seltzers and all of these different
The
things.
high noons are the same alcohol content as a
Yeah.
beer. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's, something crazy.
Any other discussion? All right, so I'll call for a motion to approve Park Board Resolution 2025-07 regarding the update of adding liquor to the resolution that governs Dykeman Park.
So moved.
Second.
Any opposed? Sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. And that seems to be all the new business, so we'll move to the Administrator's Management Report.
Well, okay, so, I'm going to let Kevin talk a lot about this. Kevin and Kyle and Dean talk about all the work that's being done on lots of different projects. Honestly, the biggest thing that I'm still trying to get a state permit for the storage barn at Spencer Park. I know that we're still trying to get one from the state for the Dykeman as well. The chapter went ahead and hired an architect to cover that. So that just got submitted today, or yesterday, I think. So that's moving on. Our request for summer promotion money from the CCVB was turned down. I was disappointed about that. I had lots of ideas about what we were going to do, and anyway, as far as recreation activities, we hosted Earth Day celebration with the Cass County Soil and Water Conservation District, and approximately 300 people attended that event. It was very well done. We also held a ribbon cutting for the Eel River Pavilion and the Lower Spencer Canoe and Kayak launch. And like the day after that happened, Central Paving says, we're going to come in and do the paving here at the end of the month. And I'm like, gee, if I knew they were coming this soon, we would have waited, but oh well. So, and then last week we held our annual daddy-daughter dance, and it was the biggest and honestly the best one we've ever done. I think we had 200 people, and great, great music. The photographs were really beautiful, and we had I guess it's a swing choir of sorts, I guess, from the Junior Civic Theater came and sang and danced for the girls and their fathers, and it was really good. We got goodie bags from the Girl Scouts that they helped pay for, and so we did some great stuff. So I'm going to let the golf courses, can you believe how busy all the stuff that they've done? That whole list of things that John gave me. Kevin they both have had all kinds of storm damage to clean up, lots of limbs, several trees that have come down as well. So I'm really appreciative of their hard work. The Dykeman West restroom, the old one is down and the new one is up and operational. And Kevin can expand on that. He also has gotten the therapy restroom all fully operational. We have received the 2 to 5 year old playground equipment for Spencer Park. It's here, and we just got notice that the 5 to 12-year-old playground equipment is coming here in June. The anticipated construction time for that is in August. So after, kind of hopefully after the kids are all gone back to school is what our plan was. So we did replace all the interior lights inside the pool, inside the bathhouse, and and Kevin and his staff was able to do all that. He also put in a new light at the Wright Street Bark Park, an overhead, a big pole light. Kevin did that. They're just amazing. And then we did have some pretty significant graffiti inside the Spencer Park restroom right before we started doing the paving. So we closed the restroom at the time they were doing the paving and painted inside that and got those restroom walls all covered. Kevin and I also met with Dan Gingrich and an associate of his from Ohio. Is that where he was from, Ohio? I think somewhere, not from here. Not from here. He travels in a plane. Anyway, to look at the acoustics at McHale Complex. And my goal is to, when we get the quote from them, that I want to apply to the Cass County Community Foundation to help us do that work there in the McHale Complex. Because honestly, that's where it's at. That's all it needs now, is to make sure those acoustics are decent in there, because the guys have done the kitchen, the lounge area, the restrooms, the outdoor restroom is done, new windows. We've really done a super job of getting that place really shaped up, and acoustics is the last thing to get taken care of there. And I think everybody can be really happy with that. So, and then I wanted to announce that Recreation Director Carrie Yax resigned her position. And we're going to try to figure out how to move on. I'm going to take care of all the social media that Kara took care of. Kelly's going to take care of our camps or junior golf and things like that, and the tennis, and of course swimming is done through the pool. The park and play program. I do not have the staff for that. One of the people that Kara had planned on being there is unable to do it now, and so I am canceling that program for this summer. So I'm just not able to do it myself. I'm not going to try to do more than what I can do. So anyway, any questions?
What about the next item after that, preparation for splash pad and the opening day for the aquatic center? Was there anything there you wanted to talk about?
Well, that's good. I'll let Kevin. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The splash pad is ready now, right? They're at Millhausen Park, and the pool opens June the 3rd. The lifeguards are all hired. Gracie and Valeria have both already started. Actually, they've already got the actual bathhouse all clean, ready to go. And it's a good thing that things were kind of busy for them otherwise this week, because it's kind of cold in there. So anyway, the opening day is June the 3rd, and the lifeguards are going through. Some of them have recertification like this Saturday, and then another group of them will have full certification the next Saturday. And they're also doing a training session with the fire department on Friday the 30th as a group. And I think that'll be a fun day for them. Not fun day, but a good day for them. So the firemen seem to make things pretty fun. So Dunwoody transfer, I think, is it's not on hold, but I think they still have some stuff to get done, right? No, it's done? It's moving forward. Okay, cool. The Heritage Park fountain has been removed. Grand Industrial helped us get that done. And so that's and all the trees are down and everything, so Steinberger has moved right on with it, so. The ADA assessment has been, continues, and, am I gonna be able to get that back? Oh, good. And so, they have done, let's see, what did I lost my. Oh, they have done, I gotta look at the list, I'm sorry. Where's that? Cold Bridge, Vail River Run, Melbourne Park, Little Turtle Waterway, the Iron Horse Park, and Houston Park are all complete. I think the big one that they have to do yet is Dykeman Golf Course and they wanted to wait till things were settled down a little bit before they came and did that. So I appreciate that. I also want to review. Dun, 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 let me get. Oh, the new logo. I like that.
Love it.
It's like a lot different. We didn't want it to be real different, but I think it still shows our rivers. I thought that was important, and all the green space we have, and so anyway.
Are those words gonna be like around it, like for when it's used as a seal? Like
No, we won't have, the seal, it'll look like that with the Logansport Parks, just like that. The first choice in outdoor recreation isn't in everything, and they did different styles, so that some of them have a long things, it's linear, so I can use it as letterhead, or you can use it, for like a t-shirt, for this, it'll just say the Logansport Parks right here. And so it won't be as congested, I guess, as this one is. So the colors are also reduced. We don't have as many colors in this one as what this, because this one costs $25 every time you want to have it embroidered. So this one should not be that expensive. So we hope. So
How long's it been since we changed it? How long has the old one been around, do you know?
this one's probably 25 years old. It served us well. I'm not, and like I said, it's still. If you look at the current one now, it looks a lot like it, but it's just a little more.
Probably easier to recognize from a distance, too. The other one's more like a picture where you've got to get up and kind of see it, so.
So anyway, so we'll start moving forward with that if you don't have any problem with that.
Thing.
Okay, and I do not have this on here, but we talked about a park board retreat in July is probably the best time to do that. Our park board meeting is July the 9th. If you want to do that following, but that is Fair Week, and I don't know if any of you are involved in the fair. I don't think Dave is or Ammon is, so. Could be the 9th, or if you want to move it to the 16th, we could do that if you want. So
I think the 9th is fine after the meeting.
after the meeting, okay.
Fine for me.
Okay, so we're gonna plan on doing that then, okay? And I've pretty much already talked about all the recreational activities. So
So that means we move on to Kevin for the maintenance report.
I have one question.
Oh, sure.
Jan, I wondered if, when you talked about the graffiti at the Spencer Park restroom, I wondered if, is there any way to see who did that, like from our cameras that we had installed? Do we know who did that? Do we have
it was pretty significant. I mean, it was gang kind of stuff, wasn't it?
It was a tag. I'll speak on that since there hasn't been established just yet. They're coming back next week to finish up their work.
So there weren't any cameras installed that could help us
Not,
determine who did that?
there's not currently. There are going to be, like, Their next install will be there. We just haven't had them
Yeah,
yet.
it wasn't there. So did you turn that into the police department? Did you take pictures of it? And turn it into the police department?
No damage, just graffiti. So, yeah, we were trying to identify.
Well, I consider.
Organization.
graffiti- I consider graffiti being.
Sure.
So I just want to make sure that we have the police department aware of that, and do investigation, because kids that age shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Come on up, Kevin.
Good evening. So yeah, just expand a little bit, about what Jan said. Yeah, we, eventful, last month, with the completion of a few bigger projects. And then, of course, we were just talking about, with Susie here about the cameras. MSP were able to come down and get Riverside cameras all changed out, taking the old ones down, getting the new ones up. So those are all functional. Little Turtle is functional, and Little Turtle west side. The east is the next one to get hit. We have done our part at Houston. We trenched in the power line from the bathroom all the way out to the backfield, or to the hill of the backfield. It's about 1,000 feet worth of trenching, and pulled a utility line into there. And thanks to the utilities, they set us a couple poles there for the expansion of the cameras in that location. Mission MSP will be coming back next week to continue with their installation with those cameras, furthering our parks security and seeing these things when they happen. She spoke about the aquatic center, the pool. Is actually currently filling right now. The Spear Corporation always come in at the beginning of the year to do calibration on the computers and stuff like that. They're about a week out. They come in on next Wednesday, so we'll have the pool operational and balanced and clean, and everything will be really working by that time. By the time they come in, they just try to make sure that everything's optimal for the year as a baseline. So if there's little things here and there, they can supply those needs for us. The splash pad, of course, after last year's incident, the pipe that we winterized in the ground, the last day we were taking it apart on Labor Day. We let it go through Labor Day last year. We were going to take it apart, but we decided to let it go since it was still warm out. And that night of Labor Day evening, before we were coming the next day, the plug, the 2.5-inch plug down the pit where everything's housed, decided to crack and burst, flooding that pit. So we lost our computer that runs everything like that. That was all an insurance claim. It was all handled great. So we had got that new computer installed down there. It came pre-programmed, so it was really a new, just a plug-and-play operation down there. We had to modify the brackets on the walls and stuff like that, but the new computer is very, a lot more intelligent than the last one, let's put it that way. With the old computer, if we had a power outage or if light flickered, the program would just stop. So anytime something would happen, you get a telephone call, hey, the splash pad's not working. You have to go up there, you have to open up the vault, you got to climb down in there, and you got to hit start. Kind of a pain, but the new computer automatically fails to program. So anytime we have a power outage or something happens of that nature, the computer's going to go ahead and restart back into active program. So when the times that it's active, when that button's hit, it's going to go ahead and play. So it's taken that aspect away, and then also it's online accessible. So even if something,
So he can do it by his phone.
I can pop on my phone at home and see what's going on, see the flow rates, change programs. Like right now, it's too cold to even run. You can set the program so if it's too cold outside, you hit that button, nothing's going to happen. So which is what's happening right now. It's too cold for it to even run. But it will be functional this week in the splash pad. Of course, free to the public to come up and use. Will be open this weekend, and it should be good to go. The pool still has a couple more weeks here still until it opens up. Looking for another good year there. And then a couple of the big projects we just got finished, like she said. The Spencer Park is looking fantastic. I'm sure you've all been through to see the asphalt, and it brings that park to a whole new level. It looks fantastic. Sure, right after we got everything done, we had some crazy winds and had some trees down, and the utilities finished up doing their part up there. We had some power damage in that park. They just set a new pole for us and reconnected the lights around the park for us, so they're back up and functional. And then we did lose a tree very, very close to the shelter down below. No damage. It didn't hit it. Thank God. The tree snapped up top, came straight down, come close, but no damage. So we'll count that as a win. And we have seen an uptick in people using that facility with those new parking spaces and lights and all these things happening down there. It is definitely being used a lot more now than it has been, that I've seen in the past. So it's really good to see the community coming back to that, not taking it for granted for what it was. I'm glad to see it. And of course, there's still some things that we need to do down there. That's future talk, but it's good to see that pavilion being just utilized and functioning for the next, generations to come. So.
That asphalt on the north side of High Street is a game changer.
It is.
It's a completely different area,
it's fantastic. Again, it sets us up for that next phase. We've always looked at, a pedestrian crossing right there. That would be so nice to be able, since the park is split between High Street, to be able to have a formal crossing there to kind of slow traffic down. It does get a little quick through there.
It'd be nice to have a tunnel.
It was crazy when they were trying to do the paving. You can believe how much traffic there was there. It was just, it was just one car after another, and none of them were going 20 miles an hour that they're supposed to be. So it was really, because they had to stop them to get some of the big trucks and pavers and things like that in and out of those areas. So it was really crazy. So anyway.
So we're moving right along. Iron Horse Park is coming right along. We've seen a lot of activity down there. The utilities finished doing their lights and power pedestals. So the facility is completely lit. The arch is lit, and it has pedestals for future functions with festivals coming up. We are currently, Louthan just finished doing the vault for the splash pad down there as of today, and we did all of our dirt work. The company will be coming back here within a week or two to start the installation of the splash pad. So we did all the dirt work to help offset the cost of that. So a lot of things are happening down there again. It's coming right along. It's going to be a really nice park, and of course you've seen the farmers market work that's happening there. So keeping an eye on that situation. It's going to look nice here in a few months. So.
The other thing that we've done is we've got contracted to, with the big lockers that are for the kayaks over there at Michigan Avenue. That company also does small lockers like this for equipment, for like cornhole equipment or the ping pong paddles and things. So we're getting that coming in sometime in the next couple months to be placed there by the pickleball the cornhole and the ping pong. I just haven't figured out what to do about the foosball. I think we're just going to have to put balls out there and eat them when they're gone. We'll have to come up with some new ones. So anyway,
we'll figure that out.
But anyway,
gumball machine.
That's coming too for that park. But I think we, with all the work being done at the farmers market, we're not going to be scheduling a lot of things there. I don't think we really need the public down there a lot But hopefully the farmer's market's still operating over on the corner of Fourth and Market, where it used to be Security Federal's parking. And so anyway,
That's all I have.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Golf course management report. Dean and Kyle.
before they get started, I just want to say how amazing the work that they've done has been. You guys, if you haven't been there lately, you're going to be blown away. You see all the work they've done. It's amazing.
Absolutely exhausted, so I'll believe
Yes, they
you.
did.
Yeah, very much
Have
so,
everybody
and hungry.
be exhausted.
So, I want to just start with kind of the smaller of the projects and work to the big one here, but, you know, the maintenance barn, we're getting ready to start the cold storage building. The permit's been turned into the state, so hopefully that happens real quick, and we can get started on that in the next month. That was been a lot longer with, have to get an architect and stuff like that. That's going down by our new driving range, which we've seeded with some ryegrass out in the main 9 acres of where the ball lands. So that's the first step. We had it tilled, we drug it, we did all kinds of stuff to it, and we put down about, I can't remember now, 2,500 pounds of seed or something like that. I can't, 47 bags, I believe. But anyway, we that's looking good. We got Dykeman Excavating hauling some fill dirt in there for the T station. We're trying to get all the fill dirt we can because we need a lot of it. So the driving range is all moving along. Our plan is for that to open in 2026. So hopefully with good weather and everything falling into place, that will happen. And now you guys see the report, we're very busy. We got a lot of stuff going on, just regular maintenance, and we only got a couple more days before the clubhouse opens. So it's a bit overwhelming at times, but, we're there. We're there, and it feels good, It's time to go into the next step of the project, which is just learning our new way of doing business, our new way of, closing, opening, staffing. He was talking about that today, just trying to, get a handle on everything. And it's going to be a process, but we're looking forward to, like I said, the next step of the project. And we're gonna hit the ground running too, because, Memorial Day weekend's usually a big weekend for us. And then we got 2 high school matches next week, and then county tournament, chamber outing, boys sectional, Cole outing, all in the first, 2 weeks. So we're ready for a clubhouse to work out of. And very thankful to the board and Jan for all the support through this, and obviously for me, my staff, Kyle, John, everybody, the people that work the clubhouse or the trailer right now, the campsite, it's been a, I don't know, I can't describe the campsite.
It's been different. I mean, it hasn't kept people from playing. I mean, on really nice days, there's a lot of people there. Thankfully, we've been able to utilize our driving range field for people to park in. Some days it's so nice to sit out there and just have people drive up and hand you their dollar or pay. Sometimes we thought, or we were thinking, maybe this was maybe we should have just did this. But no, we're thankful for Steinbergers for allowing us to use their construction trailer, because I don't know what we would have done without it. Days like today, we can shut the door and we have a little heater in there that we can stay warm with.
We should have brought tonight here.
Right,
Yeah.
and then, like I said, on the really nice days, we sit outside in rockers and are able to, basically give every golfer that comes in the same drinks, no hot dogs or brats, but snacks and stuff. So I wouldn't say, other than the change of location, service hasn't really been disrupted too much. numbers go, even though we have a bunch of chaos going on up there, we're still up about 4% revenue wise. So it hasn't really hurt us as far as operations go. It's just made everything really inconvenient. So we, like Dean said, Friday, if all our inspections go well, Friday will be our first day opening up there, which
And we'll have hot dogs.
and we'll have hot dogs. So we
We're going to go get lunch up there?
Yeah, I was just saying.
I'm waiting, I mean, I've been.
We're gonna come get hot dogs on Friday.
yeah, we're excited. Like Steve mentioned, it's going to be a lot of growing into what our new normal is. But these past couple of weeks have really, I mean, just
Yeah.
multiple 12-hour days up there, just making sure everything's perfect and ready and organized, and it's been a lot.
A lot of times that the stuff gets done after everybody leaves, you know, I mean, the planning and the organizing, because, I mean, it is nonstop of, you know, people stopping by and wanting to chit chat or want to, you know, and see stuff, which is fine, which is great, but it's just, you know,
You can't get anything
we're
done.
ready for, you know, not to be put in, you know, have two different places to go to and to figure out, and me and Kyle's joked about stuff, but, you know, we just say we'll figure it out.
Things will settle down
We've
back.
got a lot of stuff we didn't know what we would do, like with the trailer and doing stuff, we'll figure it out, and everything's worked out. The golfers have been wonderfully patient. I mean, I don't know if I haven't heard a complaint, you know, about the.
No, I think everybody can see the
I think a couple people got frustrated with the parking because when it's rained, because they're, you know, where they dug
Oh,
the
it's
line,
muddy.
there's a little, you know, but everyone's been understanding what's happening, and, you know, we're very grateful for everything, and, you know, like I said, I thank you all, you know, and Kelly, I mean, didn't mention her earlier, but we send a lot of texts, says, hey, order this, get this for us, and she's done all the things for us that, you know, that we needed the help with and stuff, and not too afraid to ask for help when we need it, and like I said, it can be considered overwhelming, but we've, you know, with the support of everybody, we're at this part finish line. This part of the project's finish line, so.
Do you know the golf simulators up and running?
No, the golf simulators, the sim room was, at first, Shepler said that we wouldn't be able to come in the building until like the very last minute, but they were gracious enough to finish the sim room for us so we could store everything in there.
Before the old clubhouse came in.
Clubhouse stuff, we got stuff in there. I mean, the maintenance barn's a wreck with everything, you know, that we were trying to store and stuff like that, but, you know, so the sim room has been occupied as a storage room till basically tomorrow, I guess, you know. At that point, we have pretty much everything in except the computers for the simulator. I'm guessing it will take us a month or so to get them up and going, you know. My goal is to have them up by July, you know. I think that's feasible, but like I just read off our schedule for the next couple weeks. We are looking forward to just running a golf course too, you know, but our goal is to have the sims up by the end of June, you know, sometime in there and up and operational.
Thank you.
Yep.
All
I
right.
could talk forever about all this stuff, but I know everybody's ready
You're
to
hungry.
check out.
November, before you know it, you'll be able to go home at dark and not have to.
Maybe not
worry.
this time.
Maybe not this year.
Yeah, you know, hopefully with the simulators, you know, it's, you know, our goal the whole time has been take us from a 9-month revenue into a 12-month revenue. And
All right.
And
thank you very
again,
much.
thank you guys for all your hard work. You guys have been amazing. It's
yeah,
just,
thank you.
I know
Like
how hard you guys have been doing that, so.
we appreciate all your guys' help, and Jan, thank you for everything, the support.
It's my job.
Thank you.
All right, we are up to visitors' comments. Do we have any visitors' comments? Okay, any board member comments? Mike?
Of course. I've got a list of a couple of things. I do want to, on behalf of the board, recognize Kara Yax, because she really has, I think, kind of turned a corner on our programs we provide for people. I know is hard on her and a lot of hard work, but she's gave us a role model, I think, for the future, so I appreciate that, all she did for us. I happen to think Malcolm left. I did send him a text. I noticed we had tables, chairs on the surplus equipment. I didn't know if he might want those for the memorial home. So,
I don't think so. They went through all the stuff at the memorial home and they got rid of all of the old stuff and they were really not looking. I just don't, I mean, he'll answer for you. But
yeah,
we went through and cleaned out the memorial home this summer and that was a lot of work. There was a lot of junk in there.
yeah,
And I just don't think that they're looking to put anything in there until this project.
so they're done.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are they planning to
Check.
keep that furniture that's there now? All the tables and chairs that are there now, they're gonna keep?
Yeah, but there's not much in there compared to what was in there in the summer when we cleaned it out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we haul tons of stuff out of there. So the stuff they have now are like, it's the better stuff that's in there. But yes, what's in there now, they're planning on keeping. I just don't think they're looking to fill it up.
that's fine. Yeah, and it would get in the way, so never mind. Scratch that thought. Also, make mention tomorrow is the last day of school, full day of school. So, you know, people be aware that there's going to be kids out and start using our facilities and all that kind of stuff. I did want to mention I've had a lot of public comment about the clubhouse and how beautiful it is and the parking. And I mean, they're just, people are really liking that. And I wanted to mention again that the Spencer Park, you know, getting that pavilion done and then having that paving and just having like parking lines on asphalt. Just some reason it looks fresh and wonderful. So again, yeah, it really does. I mean, it really makes that, you know, a nice, and nice, it's up above the upper part too. And, you know, since Dave Smith is not here, I thought I should mention we should be thanking Jan, Kelly, Kevin, Dean, and Kyle. I mean, I just thought that, you know, if he was here, he would want to say that, so. That's, oh, okay, sorry. It's always good to go first, you get all that stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna go ditto, because I was gonna do the same since he wasn't gonna be here. But, I've also been out, sorry. I skipped
you're
through.
next.
I've been out at a few of the parks and at the golf course and helped at daddy-daughter dance. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate all the hard work that you're all doing. I've seen a lot of it firsthand, and I'm just amazed at all that you guys have been doing and do for our city.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate, I think the staff, May is a hard time for the staff of the Parks Department. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on, and that we haven't even talked about mowing all the yards. So, I mean, that's just an amazing feat that we do with the staff that we have. I wish we could double the staff, you know, I mean, it really would be well utilized, but, so, that's the only comment I have. So, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passed. We are adjourned at 7:01.
Yeah, long one.